Hello everyone, it's Renee with Body TV, and I'm here with a mucusless dye healing system update. So this will be an update about the past 3 months. The second week in January, I decided to recommit to my journey of transitioning on with the mucusless dye healing system. And it's been 3 months, and I think that's a good enough time to have some information to share about what's changed so far. So first, I started off doing my enemas every night, and I was not able to use any lemons first because it was so intense. So then after about the first week, I moved up to 1 to 2 sweet lemons. Those are the Meyer lemons. And then after that, after a good month of those, I moved up to 1 to 2 regular lemons per enema. And sometimes after the first month, when it was into the second month, I moved up to enemas sometimes in the morning and at night. And I'm consistent with my enemas. Currently, I am experimenting with taking a break from enemas for 1 to 3 days to see how long it takes me to have a natural bowel movement. And so far, I had success one time after trying it 3 times. And later, I'll talk about what I'm doing to try to relieve myself of constipation. So as far as while I'm doing the enema, the things that changed was I was able to empty the whole bag into my colon with one pass after the first, maybe first few days. Before that, it would take me, I would lay down, I would insert the tube, and it would take me about 3 passes of emptying my colon to receive the whole enema bag filled with water and lemons. And now I can just take it in one sitting, hold it there for at least 10 to 20 minutes, and then release it. It takes me about 2 to 3 passes on the toilet to actually release all the fluid. And I noticed that if I incline my body while I'm laying in the tub doing my enema and I raise my hips or lay on my right side, the water will go deeper, allowing me to cleanse more of the things that are backed up higher in my colon. Also, my toleration of grains, even though I really didn't eat a lot of grains over the past year, I really cannot. If I eat some rice one day randomly or some pasta, it literally turns to glue immediately, and I'm stopped up, and I have to do an enema as soon as possible. In addition to eating a lot of salads to try to move it out. I've been really focusing on the principles of the transition diet, which I was not doing before, which is why I did not have much success. So this time I decided to focus on the transition, which is what we always suggest as a practitioner. And some of those guidelines and rules are always eat fruits alone, or if you eat dried fruit, you can have that with juicy fruit. But if you eat nuts or seeds, never eat those with juicy fruits. You can have juicy fruits with, you can have you can have seeds, nuts with dried fruit, because the sugar in the dried fruit will help to dissolve the fats in the nuts. And I've noticed over the past 2 months, I can't really eat too many more nuts like that because they cause me, I don't know, I just feel like stopped up So I try not to eat as many of those unless I have like a craving for like a candy bar or something. Then I'll eat some dried prunes or raisins with some almonds or pecans or something like that. Or I'll have a salad with with the nuts. Also, you never want to drink with your meals. Wait at least 15 minutes before you eat. After you drink, mix as few varieties as possible of a fruit or a vegetable together when you're eating. That way it's easier for your body to just digest that one thing. It doesn't have to focus on too many things at once. I usually eat 2 to 3 at the most together. Also, do not overeat. And that was a problem of mine and still tends to be sometimes because I cope with stress by eating. So if you don't overeat, you give your body time to actually digest the food and eliminate it before you eat another meal. When I break my fast in the morning, I usually drink some herbal tea with honey or just some water. I currently still am really addicted to eating ice, so I eat ice if I want to eat something, or I just eat ice because it makes me feel good. So I'm working on getting rid of that problem because that is all about overstimulation, which I'll talk about later. In addition to that, the guidelines suggest that you drink warm water, distilled water, or spring water with lemon and honey if you want in the morning. And then later on, I don't even get hungry till about 11 or 12, and then I'll eat fruit, maybe like 2 or 3 pieces of the same type of fruit or 2 or 3 pieces of different fruit. And then if I'm still hungry, I will eat the dried fruit with nuts and seeds. And lately, I've been following Eric's the different meal courses he has in the Mucusless Healing System book. He has suggestions in it for the transition diet. Chapter 16 or lesson 16, it talks about a square meal substitute. So I tend to do that because I have a large capacity for food. I'm a uric acid type, and we can eat a ton of food at once. So because I still feel hungry after I eat the fruit and then the fruit and the nuts, I'll go ahead and eat a leafy green salad. And then if I still feel hungry after that digests, I'll eat a baked sweet potato or some toast. And that really tends to work. After that, I'm not hungry for a long time. Then I'll eat another meal of like cooked vegetables with some leafy green salad later on at like 7 or 8. I try not to eat too late, but usually it ends up being like 8 o'clock that I eat because I finally get my child to bed, get ready for the next day. And then after that, I'll let my food digest for a while. Then I'll do an enema before I go to bed. I recently purchased, besides the Mucusless Healing System book, I purchased this book, which is The Physical Fitness Through a Superior Diet, Fasting, and Dietetics, and also Religious Concepts of Physical, Spiritual, and Mental Dietetics. I purchased this book, The Definitive Cure of Chronic Constipation and Overcoming Constipation Naturally. And these are all by Professor Arnold Eric, and Professor Spear wrote, edited, and revised it as well. And some of them have articles by Fred Hirsch and Teresa Mitchell. And then the last one that I have that I'm going to start reading today is this one, Rational Fasting for Physical, Mental, and Spiritual Rejuvenation, because I really want to get into fasting. I tried it a few times over the month. I only was successful for one day, and then after that, my mental capacity for not eating food when I was tempted was not there. So I'm just going to keep working on it. After I read that book, I'm sure I'll have more insight. I also am working with the suggested elimination helpers. If you look at the Definitive Cure for Chronic Constipation book, page 29, they have a cleansing diet. And also if you go to lesson 5 in the Arnold Ehret Mucusless Diet Healing System book, it has some concepts in there on how to put your foods together to produce a laxative effect. So like today, for instance, again, I started with the water or herbal tea with lemon, and then later on I had the fruit with juicy. I had juicy fruit with dried fruit, and then after that I had a leafy green salad, and drink water in between. And I feel some bulk happening. I feel some movement, whereas before I wouldn't feel anything. I would have to do an enema to produce a bowel movement. So we'll see what happens tonight. Hopefully it comes out. Or if not tomorrow. They suggest that you do those cleansing diets for at least 2 to 3 days to see what happens. They also suggest in the Mucusless Diet Healing System, transition diet, I believe. No, it's not in the transition diet section, but one of the sections talk about elimination, and it gives you, or actually no, it's in this book. It's in this book, and it's on 29 when it talks about eating carrot or cabbage, cooked cabbage with cooked green apples and cooked prunes on top. You cook it for at least an hour or two, and then you eat it, and it should produce a laxative effect. So I'm going to probably try that tomorrow or the day after. Some other thoughts are, I'm working with my children on changing how they eat, getting them into the transition. So not allowing them to eat certain things together, making sure they wait a certain time before they eat after they drink, making sure that they don't that they have fruit first thing in the morning and those types of things, making sure that there's no like meat in the house or anything. Even though I still have a craving every now and again for meat, I do have some meat substitutes in our freezer, and every now and again I have I had a hamburger and I had some chicken, and I feel like literally I was shocked because it shows that the transition is working. Since I've been following the principles consistently in the enemas, that felt like I was gonna die after I ate that meat. And usually I had no problem going back and forth, but this time I felt literally like I had food poisoning, and which I pretty much did, eating putrid pus. That's food poisoning, and so I had to eliminate that with I did 3 enemas, 2 to 3 enemas back to back to get that out, or to at least feel better. The other thing is I need to start doing more physical exercise. Even though I'm a dancer by trade, I went through a very depressive phase, and I wasn't really active except for at work or when I was teaching randomly, and that wasn't enough. So I've committed to doing some stretches like yoga and breathing, and 9 exercises by Arnold Ehret, which he talks about in 2 of the books, and also some calisthenic exercises. Other thing is, I watched the State of the Mucus address that Professor Spirit and Brother Air posted a few days ago. And Brother Air was talking about stimulants and how the food we eat it because it produces stimulating qualities, just like you eat candy, or you may drink alcohol or do some other type of drug. You use food the same way. And I definitely agree with that for myself. I am definitely still highly addicted to food, although the transition diet is really helping me 100% to resist cravings. And when I have a craving, I know what to do about it. I noticed that the change in my smell is changing. They talk about that when you go around people that eat a certain way, where they're filled with mucus and pus, you can smell, it's like a putrid death kind of smell that comes from them. And I'm salty because I'm like, dang, I must have been smelling like that. And I wonder if I still smell like that to people that are cleaner than me, like Brother Aaron, Professor Spear, and Sister Tekoa. They probably smell me and think I smell like that. So that's horrible. I want to change that ASAP. But I really noticed that, and it's almost intolerable when I smell it. Another thing is your mindset does change, which shows that you are rejuvenating and renewing your body and your spirit through this. I listen. I've noticed the lingo that people use more often. I work in the food grocery store industry, and I noticed that more and more how people talk about food that they know they're not supposed to eat, but they still eat it anyway. They'll make a joke about it to be like, oh, I'm on a diet, but I'm just gonna eat it. I'm cheating. Oh well, something like that. Like to blow it off to make themselves feel better about eating it and not feel guilty. They'll also do stuff like use death language. Like they'll say, "Ah, I'm just dying for this chocolate. I've been dying to eat this." Or they go, like they'll see some chocolate cake or some steak or whatever they know they're not supposed to have, and they'll be like, oh my God, this is of the devil. I'm going to eat it. I love it so much. This is from the devil. It's so good. Like, that's so backwards. If it's from the devil, why are you going to eat it if you look at it as evil? Also, they say stuff like, just like this is to die for. Why would I be eating to die? Like, that's what they literally doing. But they feel like they treating themselves good when they eat food that they associate with being in a place where they go is to die for. That's backwards. So I definitely have changed the way I talk, and I just hear more people how they talk about it. And the last two things I want to say is they also talk about your taste changing and how you won't be able to tolerate strong flavors like spices and condiments anymore. I definitely agree with that. I am a condiment fiend, and I know that now I don't. First of all, hot food was my number one thing I loved, and now I really can't tolerate it in my stomach and my tongue. It's like I'm more sensitive to it, so I haven't eaten hot sauce in probably like 3 weeks. And then I really don't put a lot of spices on my food anymore, or like sauces and stuff like that. So I'm grateful. I'm starting to see that change. The last thing is because over the past year I've been transitioning to a minimalism lifestyle. I've purged and got rid of a lot of things that just wasn't serving me in my life, and this has helped me to continue on that journey. The food list that I eat and that I shop for has decreased dramatically, and my food bill is like a fourth of what it used to be. Right now, all I buy is like broccoli, lettuce, green beans, cauliflower, cabbage, tomatoes. I still like fermented food like olives, so I'm working on that. And like kimchi. Yams, artichokes, teas, fruits like berries, because I do suffer from candida, so I don't eat a lot of sweet fruits. I try to do more berries and like apples, lemons, pink grapefruit, spinach. Sometimes I buy like corn and peas when I'm making vegetable soup for the family. Some vegetable juice and fruit juice. Basil, oregano, coconut oil, oatmeal, because the oatmeal keeps me from eating like cake and stuff, and my boys too. So I'm transitioning from eating that. Dry fruits and nuts and seeds. I do still have an addiction to snacking when I feel lonely or sad or heartbroken. So I do have like some chips around, the veggie burgers I talked about. It was something else. Something bad. What was it? Oh, ice cream. That's another one. That's the last dairy thing that I'm getting over. Because of that sweet tooth, that uric acid, we want to eat baked goods and sweets and stuff. So that's something I'm still transitioning from. About onions, garlic. Um, I do have some soy cheese in there, and it's probably old now because I wanted it one time and I haven't eaten it since for like 2 months. Cucumbers, ginger, root, and like granola bars for when I get a sweet tooth or my children. Salsa. Even though I prefer to make my own pico de gallo, I just buy salsa because it's simpler right now. Uh, and recently I had wanted pizza, so I bought like some frozen pizza, and that craving lasted like a day, and now I don't even want to look at that at that pizza. It made me so sick. Um, Also, I am healing myself from uterine fibroids. And since I started doing the enemas regularly and changing how much I eat, I don't have frequent urination anymore. My abdomen area decreased dramatically. And that allowed my fibroids not to press on my organs. And in the summer or the fall, I'm going to set up an ultrasound to see if my fibroids actually shrank. Currently, they're the size of a 4-month pregnancy. So we're going to see if they shrank at all. And I'll give you an update probably in about 2 more months or so. So I hope this was helpful, me sharing my experiences thus far. I pray that you have much success. Just stay consistent and don't give up, and don't be so hard on yourself. Get the books. Follow the e-course. I'm currently about to do the e-course next month. And just stay with it. It's worth it. It's your life and the generations of lives that come after you that you're affecting in a positive way. So, I wish you much success. Peace.